Hey guys, Robert here with Relentless Life Coaching. I know many of you are struggling financially or you're just not where you want to be financially. I know I was there years ago and it's taken me a long time to figure out what I needed to stop doing and things that I needed to start doing. So in today's video, what I want to do is just cover the 5 things that I stopped doing that has led me from being pretty much broke to having an abundance in my finances. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss it. Hey guys, the first point that I want to cover, and the first thing that I stopped doing, was I stopped spending more money than I made. So one of the first things that I did when I decided I'm sick and tired of struggling financially and I don't have enough money at the end of the month to pay the bills and to do all the things that I wanted to do and provide for my family, one of the first things I had to do is I had to figure out where my money was being spent. So I looked over the last 2 or 3 months. I looked to see where my money was being spent, and guys, it was eye-opening. If you're like me, you may not even know what your balance is right now in your bank account. You may have no idea that the little $20 here and $15 there and $30 here and $20 there, that adds up very quickly into hundreds of dollars. And I know for many of us, we live paycheck to paycheck, and that hundreds of dollars every 2 weeks or 3 weeks or by the end of the month, it really adds up. And before you know it, we're broke and we don't understand why. So one of the very first things you have to stop doing is spending more than you make. And then we have to talk about credit cards. Many of us, as soon as you get out of high school and you start college or you start into the workforce, the credit card companies they jump right on top of you. They're there offering you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 credit lines. And I know, like me, there was no one there to teach me about money. My parents didn't really teach me about money. Obviously, the education system doesn't teach us about money and how to handle money and understanding debt and interest and how all of that works. So I found myself very much in financial turmoil because of credit cards and because of credit card debt. Because I would get one and I would charge it up, and then I still needed more because I wasn't using money that I was making wisely. So I'd go get another credit card, and it was so easy. You just simply go online and apply, and 30 seconds later you've been approved. A few days later you get your credit card in the mail, and now you have more money to go spend. And there are so many Americans that are drowning in debt. And we'll get into another video where we'll talk about ways of getting out of debt. But I want to stay to this point, is that you cannot spend more money than you're making. And so the first step is that you have to go and see where you're spending your money, how much money is coming in and where the money is going throughout the month. And then you'll have a much better idea of how much you actually have left over after your bills are paid. So these are bills that happen every month. After your bills are paid, how much money is left over and what are you doing with that? And then we have to develop a plan so that we can take the money that's left over and start to pay that debt off. So again, we'll cover that in another video, but the first key is you have to stop spending more than you make. All right, so the second thing that I stopped doing and that you have to stop doing if you want to get out of financial debt, if you want to get out of the struggle of not having enough money, and that is stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. Stop trying to impress other people that don't even like you, probably, that don't even care about you. We go out and the ladies will get expensive purses, $700, $800, $900 purses. It's a purse. You can get really nice purses at a Ross or Dillard's, but we can't do that because we have to have the designer label. We have to have the Coach purse. We have to have all the different designers, the Louis Vuittons. We are wasting money that could be used for our financial future and for living the life that we want, for taking the vacations, for doing other things that will really make an impact on our life. And we're spending it on these designer label shoes, clothes, jewelry, fancy cars that we can't afford, houses that we can't really afford, all so that we can try to impress other people that really, truly probably don't even care. They don't care what purse you have. They don't care what car you drive. And if they do, if that is the only thing that they care about is that you have all these designer clothes, then maybe they're not necessarily the best people you should be hanging out with in the first place. So the second key is that you have to make that decision to say, I am going to be smarter with my money. I'm going to go and I'm going to find deals where I can still dress nice. I can still have a nice car. I can still have a nice purse or wear nice jewelry, but I can find ways that I can get those things cheaper, that I can still feel good about myself. I'm all about dressing for success and having nice things. But when you can't afford it and you're spending money that should be invested, when you're spending money that should be going to pay debt off, or if you're racking up debt on your credit cards or loans to be able to have living a life, really it's almost like a fake life. It's one of those things that just fills us with pride that we have. I want everybody to see my designer clothes. I want everybody to see the car that I drive. And you're trying to impress people that don't even know you. And many of them don't even like you. And most of them don't care what car you drive. So it's really, really important. And I know it's hard in this day and age. I know everything is about appearance. Everything is about what other people think about us. But we have to get over that. If not, you will always struggle financially, because you're never going to be able to have enough money to invest, to buy a business, to invest for retirement, to invest in your savings. Because you're always going to be spending it on the next new shiny thing. And the third thing that I stopped doing was I stopped wasting time. Guys, time is valuable. Time is one of those commodities that we never get time back. Once it's spent, it's spent. And I want you to look at time like you look at money. So time can be spent just like it can be with money. Time can be invested wisely or poorly, just as money can be invested wisely or poorly. So really, you have to focus your time. So spending time, most wealthy people spend hours every month looking at their investments, looking at their personal finances, looking at their budget, how much money's coming in. It's no different than running a business. Your personal finances is just like running a business. You have expenses and you have revenue. You have the income that's coming in. You have to balance those two. You have to have more revenue coming in than your expenses or your bills. And so you have to spend time looking at your finances. The most Americans, most people spend zero time looking at their money. They wait for that paycheck. As soon as the paycheck comes in, they pay the bills that are due, and then they look and say, okay, great, I've got $500 left over. Let's go out to eat. I need to go shopping. I need a new pair of shoes. I need whatever. And before you know it, within 3 or 4 days, they're broke again, and they're waiting for that next paycheck. They spend no time looking at a budget. They spend no time figuring out, okay, what about savings? I need to put so much in savings. I need to look at investments in for the future. So guys, time is so valuable. And when we talk about compound interest is interest upon interest. So you have a principal amount that you invest, then that investment pays you. So, and we'll just use an example. You put $1,000 in and you make 10% interest on that at the end of the year. Then you now made $100 on that $1,000 investment. So now you have $1,100, and say the next year you don't put another dime in, but the next year you make another 10%. Well, now you're making 10% interest on the $1,100, not just the original $1,000 principal. So now you just made $110. So now you have $1,210. So you made, in 2 years, you made $210 on an initial $1,000 investment. Now imagine that over time, as time builds. It's one of those things, it's like a snowball. As it starts to roll down the hill, it's very small, but as it gets down the hill, it gets bigger and bigger and faster, and it has more momentum. And so compound interest is one of those things that you have to start early, and every day that you wait is less money that is going to be able to work for you in your investments. And that's, guys, that's ultimately our goal, is that we don't want to be out there working for money, but we want to take the money that we have, and we want to put that money to work for us. And that is through investing and compound interest and purchasing assets and knowing the difference between what an asset is and a liability. And guys, we're going to cover all these in other videos, but I want to get that point across that we all have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Why is it that so many people can do so much with that time, and then so many others do very little with the time that they have? So guys, if you're serious about getting your finances in order, then you have to stop wasting time. All right, the fourth thing that you have to stop doing, if you have credit card debt, if you have loans, you have to stop paying the minimum payment. Guys, these companies know that by setting up the minimum payment is just enough to barely cover the interest, and many times it doesn't even cover the interest. And so even though you're making a payment every month towards an account, that account is actually accruing and getting larger because the interest that you owe is actually more than your minimum payment. And guys, this is again, a slippery slope that will continue to keep you down financially. So there's a whole system that you can follow to be able to get out of debt and stop paying the minimum, where you simply take all your bills, write them down, look at the balances, and take the one with the smallest balance. And you're going to take everything that you can, anything extra that you have. If you can go and make a little bit extra money, walking dogs, cutting grass, Uber driving, whatever it is, make as much money as you can and put everything that you can every month towards that smallest bill. And then as soon as that smallest bill is paid off, you take all the money that you were putting towards that bill, and you put it towards the next bill. And guys, if you can do that and you can stay true to that month after month, however long it takes for you to get out of debt, you're going to see this get larger and the momentum is going to grow, and you're going to be able to get out of debt much, much faster than trying to pay the minimums on many of these debts. You may have only $2,000 that you owe and you pay the minimum. It could take you up to 10 years to pay that bill off. Guys, it's crazy. You have to stop paying minimum and have a strategy that you can use. So list all your bills out, take the smallest amount that you have, put everything that you can towards it, and then obviously you have to stop utilizing those credit cards. You have to stop utilizing and going further into debt. So if you're serious about getting your finances in order, you have to stop paying minimums and start using the strategy of paying your smallest bill off first, and then taking that money and paying off the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. Before you know it, guys, you're going to be out of debt, and we can start moving forward to the financial future that you're looking for. Okay, guys, I left the last point, which I feel is one of the most important things, for last. And the one thing that you have to stop doing is you have to stop hanging around negative people. Stop hanging around broke people with a broke mindset and mentality. You have to surround yourself with successful people, with people that are where you want to be. So find those that are doing really well financially. Find those that are successful business owners. Find people that have really done well with their finances, and start to spend time with them and ask them what they did. Ask them some of the challenges that they had, some of their investments. What are they doing? What's working for them? When you can surround yourself with people like that, and it may not even be a person that you personally know or interact with. It may be something like this where you're watching a video. You can certainly follow us, relentless_life_. You follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Guys, you have to be relentless. You got to be relentless in your pursuit to get your finances in order, because I'm telling you that financial freedom will change your life. When you can wake up in the morning and know that your bills are paid, when you know that you don't have any debt, when you know that you can go do anything that you want to do and pay cash for it and not have to pay interest. Guys, it is life altering and life changing, and it is worth every bit of sacrifice that you may have to make. So guys, I challenge you to stop doing the 5 things that we covered today. Guys, follow us. We're going to continue to do more videos. The next video I'm going to do is the 5 things that I want you to start doing if you want to get your finances in order and set yourself up for financial success. So until next time, really focus on stop doing the 5 things that we talked about. And I look forward to making the next video and sharing that with you guys on the 5 things that you need to start doing to get your finances in order. Thanks for tuning in.